Welcome to Infinite Curiosity. Today you will discover 10 curiosities that you won't believe are real, but that science confirms. Some will leave you thinking all day. Let's begin. 1. Your stomach regenerates every 3 to 4 days. If it didn't, the acids that help digest food would digest you. That's why the cells in your stomach are constantly renewing themselves. 2. There are more trees on Earth than stars in the Milky Way. It is estimated that there are more than 3 trillion trees and about 100 billion stars in our galaxy. Who would have thought our planet is more starry than it seems? 3. You can survive without part of the brain. There are documented cases of people who have lived without a cerebral hemisphere, and yet they could speak, reason, and live a normal life. The brain is incredibly adaptable. 4. Octopuses have 3 hearts and blue blood. 2 hearts pump blood to the gills and 1 to the rest of the body. Also, their blood contains copper. That's why it's blue. 5. There are more bacteria in your body than human cells. For every human cell, there are about 1.3 bacteria. You are more microbe than human. 6. Bees can recognize human faces. Just like us, they use patterns and distances to identify faces. They have a kind of fascinating visual intelligence. 7. Water can exist in 3 states at the same time. At a point called the triple point, water can be solid, liquid, and gaseous all at once. A true quantum trick of physics. 8. The human heart can keep beating outside the body. As long as it receives oxygen and nutrients, it can keep beating. In fact, hearts have been kept active in laboratories for hours. 9. Butterflies can taste with their feet. Their legs have taste sensors that allow them to know if a plant is edible without having to try it with their mouths. 10. Your body glows in the dark, but you can't see it. We emit a faint natural bioluminescence, but it's 1,000 times weaker than what our eyes can perceive. The world is full of incredible things. Which of these curiosities surprised you the most? Leave your comment, subscribe, and share if you love the mysteries of science. Until the next journey through the impossible, do you think you've seen it all? Get ready to be amazed. Today on Infinite Curiosity, we will explore 5 facts so incredible, they will change the way you see the world forever. Let's go. 1. Your brain can generate enough electricity to power a light bulb. Your brain is a true power plant. Although it weighs barely 2% of your body, it consumes more than 20% of your total energy. And the most amazing part, in an active state, it can generate up to 20 watts of electricity, enough to light a small bulb. Neurons, those tiny cells that make up your mind, communicate through electrical impulses. Every thought, every memory, every emotion is a spark of energy traveling through a universe inside you. So next time you have a great idea, remember, you are literally lighting up your inner world. 2. Octopuses have 3 hearts and blue blood. Yes, you heard that right. 3 hearts and blue blood. One of the most fascinating animals in the ocean, the octopus, breaks the rules of biology as we know it. 2 of its hearts pump blood to the gills, where they collect oxygen. The third, larger one, is responsible for distributing it throughout the rest of the body. But the most striking thing is its blood. Instead of hemoglobin like ours, it contains hemocyanin, a copper-based protein which gives it that mysterious blue color. And here's a curious detail. When the octopus swims, the main heart stops beating. That's why they prefer crawling on the seabed. It tires them less. 3. The Milky Way smells like rum and raspberries. What would happen if you could smell space? Scientists, through radio astronomy, have detected a molecule in the center of the galaxy called ethyl formate. And what does this molecule smell like? Rum and raspberries. Amazing, right? This doesn't mean you can open a window on the spaceship and have a cosmic cocktail. But it does remind us how wonderful the universe is. Even the scent of the stars can be sweet and familiar. 4. Your stomach regenerates every 3 to 4 days. Inside you, there is an organ so powerful it can dissolve metal. That is your stomach. The gastric acid it produces is so strong that if it weren't for its defense mechanism, it would destroy you from the inside. That's why your stomach regenerates constantly. Every 3 or 4 days, it renews its inner lining to avoid being digested by its own acid. Your body is smarter than you think. A continuous cycle of destruction and renewal that happens without you noticing. Next time you say, "I have butterflies in my stomach," think that you actually have a volcano in constant reconstruction. 5. Plants can communicate with each other. Even though they don't speak or move, plants communicate. When a plant is attacked by insects, it can release chemical compounds into the air that act as a warning signal to nearby plants. These, upon receiving the invisible message, activate defense mechanisms. Some harden their leaves, others produce toxins that repel the enemy. They also communicate underground through networks of fungi that connect their roots in what scientists call the Wood Wide Web. A network of plant intelligence that shows us nature is much more alive and connected than we imagine. The world is full of secrets, and only the most curious dare to discover them. If any of these curiosities surprised you, give it a like, share this video with someone who loves knowledge, and of course, subscribe to Infinite Curiosity to keep exploring the impossible. See you next time. Do you think you've already seen it all? The world is full of hidden details, super rare facts, and scientific truths that will leave you speechless. Get ready, because today on Infinite Curiosity, I bring you 5 curiosities that seem fake, but are totally real. Let's discover them. Bees can recognize human faces. Bees don't just make honey or live only to pollinate flowers. Scientific studies have shown that they can recognize and remember human faces, something that until recently was thought to be exclusive to intelligent mammals. Their brain is the size of a sesame seed, but it is incredibly efficient. They use a visual processing system very similar to the one humans use, which allows them to identify patterns and associate them with memories. This means that if you approach a hive many times, a bee might already have you tracked. Maybe they don't like you as much as you think. The human brain generates more electricity than a storm. Your brain, that mass of just over 1.5 kilos, is not only the most complex organ in the body, it's also one of the most powerful. It produces about 20 watts of electrical energy, enough to light a small bulb. But the most impressive thing is not that. In just 1 second, it can generate up to 1 million electrical impulses that travel through more than 160,000 kilometers of neural connections. Even while we sleep, our brain keeps working, dreaming, solving problems, and filing away memories. It's like a constant electrical storm inside your head. In space, you can't burp. When you're in space, the human body behaves in very strange ways. One of the most curious, you can't burp like on Earth. In zero gravity, the gases and liquids in your stomach don't separate the way they do here. That means if you try to burp, it won't come out as just gas. You could end up vomiting accidentally. That's why astronauts have very specific diets, designed to avoid excessive gas production. So now you know, burping in space is not an option, it's a risk. The skin on your feet is the thickest in the body. Your feet are not just a base for walking. They also have a unique characteristic. The skin on the sole of the foot is the thickest of the entire human body. It can measure up to 4 millimeters and is designed this way to withstand the constant weight of the body, the friction with the ground, and the impacts when walking or running. This skin is more resistant, less sensitive, and has a protective layer of keratin that prevents injuries. But still, it's vulnerable to blisters, fungi, and cuts. So don't neglect them. Silent films weren't as silent as they seem. When we think of silent films, we imagine black and white screens, piano music, and actors moving in silence. But the reality is that on set, the actors talked. Many shouted their lines loudly, even without the microphone recording them, because that helped them convey real emotions with their faces. The louder they spoke, the more intense their expressions were. Also, in many movie theaters, there were live musicians and even narrators who explained the plot. So even if you didn't hear it, silent film was full of sound, emotion, and drama. The world is full of curiosities that challenge everything we thought we knew. Which one of these was your favorite? Leave it in the comments. Share this video if it surprised you, and don't forget to follow us for more facts that feed your mind. This was Infinite Curiosity, where reality always surpasses fiction.